Welcome to Amra's Armchair Anecdotes. I'm Amra Pajalich, writer, teacher and storyteller. Pull up a chair and let's dive into stories about writing, life and lessons learned, sharing wisdom from my armchair to yours. You can find the episode show notes, your free episode handouts and my how-to guides at amrapajalich.com/podcast. And now it's time to dive in. Welcome back to Amra's Armchair Anecdotes. My guest today is a woman who wears a few hats: literary novelist, crime writer, comedian, and by her own admission, the resident diva of her local Croatian community, singing most weekends whether or not anyone asked her to. You may already know her online as Teta Jela, the auntie who says the things the rest of us only think. Her name is Jelena Čurić, and her debut novel, Sing to Me, was published by Westwords in 2025. It follows Pero, a Croatian immigrant in 1980s Western Sydney, a flawed and fascinating man who, when Tito dies and his mother health fails, returns home to confront family secrets, a father who won't speak to him, and the long shadows of a war-torn past. It's a story about silence, forgiveness, and the song the soul forgets it knows. She came up through the Westwords Academy and Accelerator and was shortlisted for the Born Writers Award 2 years running. And today, she's here to talk about everything she learned getting the book into the world. Welcome, Jelena.
Thank you so much for having me.
I just have to say that I personally, I love Teta Jela, and I can't wait until we start talking about her.
Thank you. I've got a real soft spot for her as well.
When she talks, I'm like, oh, she's my grandmother, she's my aunt, she's every Balkan woman out there.
Yes.
And I especially love her and the contrast to the woke mum and mother of Summer Breeze.
Oh, God bless. Yes.
The parenting of Summer Breeze versus Teta Jela.
Teta Jela's old school. Yeah,
let's start with this. How did this come up? How did you discover...
Teta Jela's been a nickname of mine for the longest time. And when I gig, all the young ones, and actually everyone just goes, "Hi, Teta Jela." So I just got that nickname. And then when the book came out, I don't know, a real idea came in, and I just started with these simple ideas. And then, I don't know, all of a sudden, Teta Jela, this character came, and I think I did a few reels, and the response was so positive. And honestly, it's been just a very organic, just moving through. And I just kind of was watching, and I'm thinking people are starting to repost and people are commenting. And I went, okay, it wasn't something that I had planned. I just thought, okay. And I've always been I've always loved comedy and loved trying to be funny. And so it just progressed. And now it's blowing up a bit. I'm going out at functions and people are coming up asking for photos with me, and they're ringing their friends going, "Guess who I'm talking to?" And it's really beautiful. I have so far had nothing but really beautiful, positive responses.
And I remember your early reels where it was something like, needing to market my books and you're wearing the Vegeta apron.
Yeah, and it just happened. It flowed.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd try something. When you are with such a small publisher, I thought I've got to do whatever I can. And then I just thought, I threw caution to the wind, just went, keep going. And all of a sudden, I've just fallen in love with this content creating. I really have, and it gives me so much joy.
Well,
and
I have to say, you give so much joy.
Thank you. I love it. And I'm not just within, say, the Slavic Balkan community. It's actually crossing. And I've got Aussies that are coming up, and particularly maybe because of Summer Breeze's mum. That was a pure fluke. I don't know where she came from. I just put that out, and that's now got 1 million views. And I'm like, oh, my God.
I just love it. Crazy. I love it. Because I'm a teacher, so I work in a school.
Teacher as well. Oh, yeah.
And so for me, I work in a school where 97% non-English speaking background. So, but having said that, we are getting more and more of those parents who even someone was telling me the story where they have CCTV footage of kids doing things and showing the parents. They're like, no, that's not my child. It's AI doctored. And it's like,
I'm a school office lady, so that's where I get it. I see the parents firsthand. So they come to my,
mm,
and then I will speak because I love my teachers. So I will talk to my teachers. So I just observe. I just
yeah.
watch what's going on, and parenting has definitely changed
It really has, because
very
also,
much.
like, the ones who are the migrants, and especially the newly arrived migrants, they come with so much respect for education and so much
Mhm.
respect for teaching and the opportunities and the doors that it's going to open. And then there's the other side where it's a bit like, I don't know, and like,
Can
as a
I?
parent and as a teacher, it breaks my heart because I'm like, you're not helping that kid by
Oh,
not giving
but
them
can I tell you?
consequences.
Can I tell you that the if you want to call it that woke, maybe way too involved parent is actually crossing cultures now. I used to think it was perhaps just more of an Anglo-white kind of thing. It's not anymore. It is
Mm,
crossing into every continent. It's crossing every nationality, and I'm noticing that more and more. Almost an expectation where we were from a generation. Our parents have said, you know, what are you doing wrong? You, it's not what it's your, the onus was on you as a child. You get in there and learn. And now everyone's going, what is the teacher doing for you? What is the teacher? And that's crazy. It's like, what they, the vast majority of teachers they're brilliant. They do the best that they can, and they want it, and they're there to teach your child. But what the expectations from parents is, it's too much. I'm going to be honest. I'm finding it too much, and it's very draining on teachers. Very, very draining.
yeah, because they're supposed to be partners. Like,
Yeah,
as a
absolutely.
parent, you are there to advocate and to be the soft place for your kids, but you are
Mhm.
also there to parent and to set expectations and, to work in partnership with the school to,
Absolutely.
get your kid to get the most out of it. Yeah, it is interesting because, like, I did the hard yards with my daughter in primary school, and now she's one of those really wise teenagers who's very much, her brain does not match her chronological age.
I got one of
And
those. Yeah, I got
yeah, maybe it's the only child thing, because have you got an only
well,
child
no,
also?
I've got a boy, but boys are a different breed of animal yet again. So
Uh,
they belong on a different planet. They are
yeah.
very different. He's just very different. But in saying that, they were both during school. I didn't care. I used to go, okay, what did you do? Don't tell
Mm,
me what, I think I only had to go up to the school once because of some sort of, yeah, another boy had crossed the line. And that was about it. I was not the parent that kept constantly coming up going, my child, my child, my child. No, they say to
mm,
them, you guys have got to learn to work that out. When you go to work, you've got to learn to
mhm,
work with a boss that you might not like. You've got to learn to
mm.
work with people that you may not click
Yes.
with. It is just what it is.
Yes, and that's the thing I tell my students. I'm like, there may be a lot of things about school that you don't like, and a lot of things that you think you're learning that aren't maybe of benefit to you. But learning to wake up, to be there on time, to do things you
Exactly.
don't like
Exactly.
doing, to
Exactly.
push through, to get along with
Mhm.
people,
Yep.
because we are grown-ups. We work with a lot of people who are different to us that we don't like, and that's just life, darling. Life in the
Amen.
big city. Yeah.
Amen.
Anyway, well, to go back to Tatiella, she is awesome and she is the best fun. And also, you actually got a second print for your book, I think, based
Yes.
on
Yes. Yeah.
Tatiella. You want to talk that through?
As in, sorry, the second print.
Yeah, yeah. So do you think that Tatiella and the social media and, like, you really got built an
I
audience?
yeah, yes, yes, I dare say it. Yes. Look, for me, I have struggled. For me, I think getting books into bookstores has been a struggle for me. And for somebody who is you would come across, think of me as this incredibly confident, out there person. I struggle going into places like that, and people, the shop people looking at me like, oh, you sad little thing, and I take it really hard. So I found really difficult. So I thought, okay, no, maybe I'll just keep trying to push it through that online. That online was an easier option for me. Look, we can talk about like publishing. Gosh, I've learnt a lot.
Well, let's start. What
Yes.
what is it that writing Sing to Me taught you that you don't think could have learnt from, workshops and stuff? What were the big surprises?
How incredibly difficult it was. How
Mm,
incredibly difficult it was. You know how they tell you childbirth is going to hurt, but not until you're actually in it. You don't understand. But when you're in this, I had no idea just how difficult. And there is a structure to putting a book together. And even though I have been an avid reader from third grade and I am well into my late 50s now, I'm like, Oh, wow. Sitting down and actually having to put that together, that until you're in it and you're doing it, and for someone like me who had a mentor and guidance, that's no, you just have to get in and do it.
Yeah, and also there comes a point, like, you write and you can revise and you can do all the work
Hmm.
yourself, but you need a different perspective, and also you need
Absolutely.
that perspective from people who are in the know, who are,
Oh God,
you
yeah,
know
yeah. That was
yeah.
where I was incredibly ignorant. I didn't get it. And then the light every now and again the light bulb moments would come on. Oh, now okay, now I understand what you're trying to tell me. But it was hard. It was really, really, really hard.
And did you have to submit many places, or?
Look, I did for I think I submitted all over the shop for ages, but I didn't. It wasn't until I came across, say, got into the Westwards Academy and then got into the accelerator program that I realized, okay, I really needed that guidance. I needed a mentor, and I needed someone to go, no, no, let's go through this with you, because I can get. I'm under the impression with the bigger publishers, they're not willing to do that. It's no, you better have your act together now, and it's got to be ready. Whereas that's why I think it just wasn't going to happen, because I just didn't know how to do that.
It's
I
getting
needed my hand
harder.
held. Yeah, yes, yeah, and so I thought that's so. I realized no, that was perfect for me. For someone like
Mm.
me, that was the best thing that I could. And I learnt a lot. Needed to have my hand held going through this, and I was
Yeah, and
happy.
that's the thing. And a lot of people are now encouraged to, get mentors during the writing
Mhm.
process, and then also who will support them in the publishing process and
Yeah, I was
in
really
all of
lucky
that.
hearing this.
Yeah, because there's a lot less opportunities now. There's
Mm.
a lot of amalgamation of publishing houses, and so you're kind of in this really like, oh, it's your one chance and that's it. You can't blow
Yes.
it.
Yeah, and I have friends who've been trying to get deals, particularly say with the bigger publishers, and you're right, and it's getting harder. And I don't know if I'm wrong in saying this, but the scope of what they want is getting narrower. If a story like mine, they weren't interested, or they just didn't. But what am I going to do with that? It isn't it. If you're writing, and I'm not putting any no disrespect to any of these writers who write these genres, but if romance, romantasy, crime, but particularly crime set out in the outback, there are certain things that are. Okay, we know that'll sell. So they call it women's lit, or that kind of.
Women's fiction, yeah.
Yeah, women's for that kind of but I don't that's not my thing, and I don't know, that's not what I read nor what I write. I love
Mm.
crime, but I'm kind of a bit tired of it being set in an outback. I can't, or a coastal town. I would like something that's a bit can we just broaden it a bit? That would be beautiful. So, yeah, and it's hard. It is hard, hard, hard. And I think you've just got to, with writing, with writers, we're just artists and we're emotional, and you can really beat yourself into a really sort of scary place sometimes, where you can get quite down on yourself and think, I'm not good enough. I'm never going to get there. That's the nature of art. And even more so now, it's just getting harder and harder.
Well, that's the thing. I kind of, one of the things I keep saying to people is, if you're not getting an acceptance, it's not a reflection on you. It is not a reflection
Yeah,
on
it's
your
no.
writing. It really is just so much the shrinking market. And I was traditionally published, and I had lovely apprenticeship into the publishing industry. And now I am indie, and I run my own small press, and I do everything myself. And I am very happy at this point in my life doing that, because I want complete creative control.
Which I see,
Um,
I love that. That to me is heavenly, and that's why I love being with someone, a smaller Westwards books. I was never under any pressure to. You got to sell. You got to sell them. You got to make money. I was allowed to write the book I wanted to, and now I can, with book two, which I think will come out next year. It'll be, I can promote it my way. I can do. It's my book.
mm.
And we work together. But there's that beautiful support, and the lack. There's no stress. No one is screaming at me. No one's going, I'm not worried that I'm just going to be dropped. See you later. We're not interested anymore.
Yeah.
So
And that's the reality for a lot of
yeah.
publishing houses, and it's
Mhm.
happened to a lot of
A lot
writers.
of great writers. I'm hearing that it's happening to a lot of and as writers who have established and have sold books, and they're just getting flicked.
Yeah, I remember at one
Mhm.
point, I think when my anthology Growing Up Muslim in Australia was published, and I was going to a lot of bookish events and talking to a lot of people who had been in the industry for so much longer than I have, and they were like getting advances that were smaller than ever, or struggling to get a publishing deal at all. And I was just like, wow,
Mhm.
because you have this thing of when you get published, you've made it, it's all good. But
Yeah, no, it's not how it works.
yeah, I was on maternity leave when I had my book published, and I resigned from my job because I was like,
Mhm.
well, I made it.
Mhm. Mm,
Not the best decision. No.
yeah, I know. Oh, look, I learned that back in the 90s when I was, had a recording deal and you think, oh, set, beautiful.
Mm.
And when your second single doesn't have the success that they had hoped for, there's no album. There's just a letter in the mail telling you, see you, thanks very much, but we're not going to keep you on anymore. So I learnt the hard way. So now I don't look at it. I just look at, my aim was I wanted a book. I've got a second one that I really, very different, but that's okay. Am I waiting on money? Oh, please, please. I'm not it's okay, baby. I got a little part-time gig. I can survive with that, but no, it's more for me, and it's the book, it's the art of the book itself. It's just having this story that I'm proud of and put it out there and,
That's the thing. I wanted to talk about the ethics of telling a hard story and correct me if this, tell me if this is all correct, but Piero's father is a former fascist soldier and the
Mhm.
persecution of Romani people sits inside the story. So how did you decide how much historical weight the novel could carry, and how did you sort of
Yeah.
mediate those hard, because that's something I've grappled with too.
It's hard. It was really, really hard. I had that fine line of there had to be some truth in it. There had to be. It's a part of history, and it was a part of the storyline. The character had to go on. He's going on a journey, and the fact that he doesn't speak to his father, and I don't want to give away anything, but what happened to his father and the reasons why his father does what he does, there has to be some truth in that, and I think there has to be that heaviness there to make you understand, oh, okay, now I understand why he made those choices. What was going around what was happening around him, his life. Why did he do these things? And it's a tough one. And I had to be careful because I didn't want to upset my own community, which because I'm a Croatian girl. You never called me Yugoslav growing up. I was Croat. That was who I am. And it's still very much part of who I am. So there was that fine line, but in it, I'm telling a story. It's still
Yes.
it's fiction. It's not based on anybody. I've had people go, it's based on so-and-so. Someone said, who? I said, relax. It's not actually based on anybody. It's just this story. And I chose that period of time because I am old. I'm that first generation from a first generation Croatian here who heard all these stories growing up. And so that was a story that I wanted to tell. Plus I'm a musician and I wanted music running through it. I don't know where this, and then this, and I was always fascinated by the whole Romani gypsy culture. So when I went there in 79, I was fascinated by it, terrified because everyone made sure to say you had to be scared of them. And I just went, I was 11 and I thought, these people are fascinating to me. But I was terrified. I didn't want to go anywhere near them because everyone was putting the fear of God into you. But I always stayed with me and I just thought I just wanted to tell a good story. I wanted to tell a good story and I wanted to take this, when you're reading it, I wanted you to go, oh, okay, now I get why these things were happening. And they were perhaps valid. You just didn't pull them out of the air. There is a part of this history that a lot of people don't get, but but it was hard. I had to really think and hopefully know what I was talking about.
And that's the thing now as writers, after the book is published, we deconstruct the deep ideas. But at the end of the day, we're artists. It just comes to us. We just get these images and then we're like, oh, that's interesting. I'm just going to go with that. And then you're like, well, I don't know where that came from, but I'm digging it. That's good.
It's amazing how you're so right. I don't know where some of these stories will come. Oh, I'll go, oh, I don't know, just, hello, I'm having a coffee because I would go out and always have a coffee in the morning, take a little notebook and I'd go, okay. And then I'd write a sentence, I'd come home and then I'd work from there. Or I'd be at a gig and I don't know, and there'd be a song I was singing or I was listening to one of the boys sing a song and I'd go, that the sentiment behind that song would hit me and then I'd write. Or I'd hear stories from the boys we'd be talking about, older musicians and things that they would talk about. And so I'd just make notes. Yeah, that just comes. And I was lucky enough to be a part of, a world where I could listen. And also then my mother would sing. She's constantly singing to me all these songs that she made up as a young woman. So I would just write. I'd go, stop, and I'd write everything down. So
I love it. It's so good. It's Yeah. So I just wanted to sort of touch on that, in terms of the identity and the culture and creativity. So you touched on it a little bit in terms of the way that it shaped you and hearing all these stories and being part of the Croatian culture. But I also just wanted to know, because I feel like a lot of us, or I'm just going to talk about myself and then I'll let you see. I felt for a long time like my culture was almost like negative, and it took me a long time. Like I tried writing in a few different ways and tried writing like Anglo characters, and it was my husband who was like, there's so many people writing that, you need to write what is unique to you. So is that something that you sort of struggled with also in terms of writing something that you think is going to be published or something that you think that is going to work versus, what the voice is and what the story that you want to tell?
I'm going to be honest. I no, I that never. I just write what I can only write what I can write. What I know, what my story is, and I knew. I think I always felt like I wasn't. I think I part of you was. I'm sure that a big publisher will see me and think this is amazing, and then I realized that's not gonna. This is probably a story that's not that easily accessible for them, or they know what to do with. So I thought I'm not going to change to suit another market or the market, because that's not why I wrote the book. In the end, it was just the story that I had to tell. So I never felt, and you can tell. I think you can tell when a writer's, almost faking it. When am I going to start writing, about characters that I don't get, I don't understand? I just wouldn't. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I think with me, because I started out in genre and I was writing romance initially. So it was very much thinking from that commercial lens and publishability.
Uh,
And
yeah.
then it took me a while to and then I felt like, I had like romance books published and that didn't anything traditionally and nothing happened with them. And then I was really bitter about the time I sort of spent on that. But ultimately, I'm now very firm on what I'm wanting to do and I'm not letting things shake me anymore.
I like that. See, yeah, just I don't look. I'm probably not I'm going to be honest. I'm not a prolific writer. I don't write every day. I write in spurts. So at the moment, I'm waiting. Book 2 is sitting there, and I'm just going to wait till I have to go back and polish it, fix it all
Mm.
up. But I don't know what to write. But my writing now is just my little skits. I think that's what I'm doing. That's where I'm concentrating. I'm just thinking constantly, writing these little, tiny little things that but yeah, for me, no, book 2 is still me, as in there's nothing there, and all these characters I feel positive about them, as in I don't feel like anyone there is fake, or I've written for a market. I don't care anymore. I write a story, and if you like the story, beautiful, read it. If you don't, that's okay. There's
That
books
is
for
the
everybody.
beauty. That's the
Yeah,
beauty
there's
of
books for
midlife.
everybody.
Like, I feel like it took me a long time to get to this point, and that's exactly how I feel, and there is such joy and peace at being like.
Yes, just write you write your thing. You know what you're doing. You know who you are.
And
I
have you
love it.
had, because you've had, because you said Teta Yele is now connecting with people across and outside of the
Yeah.
community. What about your book? Have there been any
Yeah,
surprising.
I think I've had obviously a lot of the Croatian community, but say Aussie friends that I know that have read the book, and some of them have gone, "Oh, they said, well, number one, I learnt something," and they cried, that's my aim, because it's I think there's quite an emotional element, and I'm hope by the end that you could go, "Oh, okay." You feel that. Yeah, so it has been quite positive. You know what? I'm going to be honest. I don't ever ask anyone what they think. Never. I asked my husband, I asked my daughter, I asked my sister. Everyone else, I didn't ask them, because I try to pretend I'm really tough, but I'm not. But if someone comes back to me and tells me it was crap, I'll be shattered. So I
Yeah.
don't. If they want to give me their opinion on the book, then beautiful. I know it's genuine. If they don't, then I just go, better that I don't know.
Yeah, I don't care. If you don't like it, that's fine. Don't
Yeah.
read it, but don't feel the need to tell me. I don't
Yeah,
need to know.
yeah, exactly. Don't rip me to shreds about it. I've done the best. You as a writer, you do the best that you can. But
And there are so many books out there. This one doesn't work for you. You find what works for you. It's just, and also like at the end of the day, I feel like we write for ourselves. We write what we want to read and what interests us. And then it's just a matter of other people connecting with that.
yeah, I'm with you on that one. Yeah, exactly. Your readers will find you, and beautiful. Let's go. on this journey together. And if they're not for you, that's okay too.
So, in a sense, I wanted to I love that you're doing so many different things because you still are a singer,
Yeah.
but you did have the contract and
Mhm.
you've gone through that. So maybe in a sense, your lessons with writing because of that hard-earned journey
Mhm.
through the pop scene. I saw a photo of you on your website when you were at the height of your
Oh, I used to be a
pop.
spunky little thing. Now I just
I
look like a
know.
librarian or an accountant. I always joke with people. I go, I know I look like someone that does your taxes, but I'm very good at what I do. I'm a really
Yeah.
good singer. So I think I do it really well. And they just look at me and I go, just believe me, I'm actually very good.
And so you still sing like
Yeah.
what
No,
do you?
pretty much nearly every weekend. I still do the gigs. Mainly, I do mainly sing with a band called Stonasat, which is a Croatian band, but I do fill-in gigs in the Aussie scene. I still do that. I don't work as much as I used to. I find it's very draining. It's hard. Physically, I'm finding it tough. I've still got a day. I have a part-time day gig. I've got the writing. And I've got my family. It's a lot. So I don't want to
Mm-mm,
work constantly.
mm-mm,
And it's enough for me. I love it. I still go out and that's my social life because I'm a very antisocial person. I don't go out. So for me, that is my social life.
mm-mm. And so, do you think that in a sense, every industry, it's like you're supposed to have one clear lane, but you're sort of going between, and now you've got Teta Yella and the comedy
Mhm.
and that. Are you finding that people are very receptive and it's all just sort of working?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
The ones that like Tethiela and the comedy, they like that. The ones that maybe those that will read the book, are interested in reading the book. The music is that I'm at gigs. People will turn up to a gig. It's yeah, I don't know. I can do it all. It doesn't. No one has said to me you can't. What are they going to say to me? No one owns me. No one's paying me just to do one thing and say you can't do it. No, this is my. I'll do whatever. I'll do whatever I want. And
Well,
I
that's the
love it.
thing. What are your Well, exactly. I feel like there's so much you're supposed to even like in this podcast that I'm
Mhm.
doing, my thing is I just want to interview people I find interesting and learn from people.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, and share lessons. And then, I get these emails about podcasting
Mm.
and stuff, and they're like, niche down, niche down. And I'm like,
Why?
I don't know. I don't want to niche down. I just want to talk.
What I love that if you just why do you I don't get this. Look, when I get I love podcasts. I'm a podcast true crime. My God, I'm obsessed. So, but I know what I'm getting when I get and I'll find whether it's your traditional your murder, they're sort of or swindlers. I love a good swindler story. There's different genres, but no. This I know if I'm going to listen to a writer, I don't expect every single writer that someone has on the podcast to be all romance or all,
No, we're
we're all
we're multifaceted. We're all
absolutely.
different.
Yeah.
Mm. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about this second book, and is it different to your first
Oh,
one?
very different. This one is crime, but it's crime set in the late 80s. And
Mm.
it's two mates, just two young petty crims who somehow get themselves involved in a crime, in a murder, and with some big wigs and they're like, how did we get here? And it's fun. It's very kitsch. It's fun. It's based on a couple of real life situations, things that or people that I knew in the past. So I've used that, and it is just a lot more. It's fun. It's just
Mm.
yeah. I really very different from the first book.
Yeah, I'm doing a crime series at the moment, and I love
Yeah, oh yeah, I know.
crime
So yeah,
fiction, and yeah, it's my happy place now.
yeah,
I saw something about in our 20s and 30s, we're looking for a partner, we're into romance, and then we go through menopause and we want to kill our husbands, and so we're into crime.
but it's beautiful. It's so true.
Yeah, yeah, because I've been married 29 years. There's a
Yeah,
lot.
I've been with mine. I think we're coming up to 40 years this year together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm see, I have to go. I don't remember. Yes, it was about 40. Yeah, so we've been together a really long time.
Yeah, and there's a different, you go through different relationship decades in a
Oh
sense.
my God, yes.
Mm.
Yes.
And this one is nice because nothing to prove, nothing, and you just are, and you just kind of keep growing as
Mhm.
people and growing side by side. But it's just, there's still romance there, but it's just changed shape.
Yeah, I agree. It's a different. Love is really interesting. This whole the way love changes that shape of love within a relationship, and the longer you go, because we're quite currently sandwiched because we've got both mothers that we kind of have to keep an eye on, take care of, and then we have my kids are in their 20s, but I still have to keep an eye on. I feel like my daughter's forever saying, "No, you don't." But I go, "Well, you're still my child. I mean, I know you've moved out and you're doing your thing, but I will always, are you okay? You know, how you paying your mortgage and all that's those sort of things." So I'm still feel like I'm kind of balancing and I'm trying to take care of him as well, take care of myself. But I always, I don't care what anyone says. We carry the emotional load. We put ourselves last all the time, and everyone's emotional crap gets thrown on us. It is the way it is. And it's just making sure that you somehow stay buoyed up because, my God, it's hard. It can get really, really hard.
It can. And we were talking before we started recording about menopause. What has been your journey? It's a journey, I would say.
Oh, look.
It's a pit stop we don't want.
I'm finding I have found it. I've found it hard, but HRT has helped a lot. I think the hardest part is the brain fog, and I made a joke the other day. I did a reel. I'm actually on stage. I'm so tired, and I'm looking out, and I can't remember. I almost forget. I started songs in the wrong key. I can't remember whether I've sung a second verse or not. I don't know whether I'm supposed to repeat a chorus. I will sometimes look at the boys in the band and I go, but I haven't done anything. I'm just looking at them and I'm grumpy, and I'm like, or I'm looking at the crowd and I'm grumpy, but it's not them. It's just that I've either overwhelmed or just I'm tired, and I'm like, So that's been and just the emotional roller coaster. It is. Oh my God, up down, up down. I was convinced for quite a while that everyone was going to leave me. I couldn't work out why. Everyone's going to leave me. Everyone's going to leave me. Nobody likes me. Everyone's going to leave me. And I couldn't get out of that.
It really does. It sends you to some dark places. And it feels like a switch where it's almost like I've never been this negative and I've never had such dark thoughts. And it's also like you can't talk yourself, like, you do practice the gratitude. But I have this and I have that and I shouldn't be, but you can't talk yourself out of it.
It's the vulnerability and feeling so vulnerable, and you can't find that strength to stop and be more objective and go, well, what makes you think that everyone's going to leave you, or what makes you think that everything's going to fall? It's just crazy. I don't know. And
is it the anxiety? Like, do you feel that constant generalized anxiety?
I'm the queen of anxiety. I'm constantly anxious about stuff. I'm always got, that's just
because for me, like, I never was an anxious person, and then suddenly there was this constant feeling of something's wrong, something's not right. And it was just like, oh my gosh. But like you, I'm on hormone replacement therapy.
Yeah, that has helped. It's helped with the
so
hot
much.
flushes. It's helped me. It has been good. But it's not been easy. And you watch yourself age, and you kind of have to accept it. And you go, yeah. No, mostly I'm pretty good. I don't care. But every now and again you go, oh Lord, have mercy. Who's that lady? That's me.
Yeah. I'm like at the point of, because I've got like a few, like most Balkans, the Checher, plaque, the diabetes, the blood pressure.
For me, it's just the beard. I'm like, hey, come on,
Yes. Yeah. I started getting a mustache where I was like, what are you doing? And then there's like and then also it's so funny because I was talking to a friend of mine, and she, looks at her husband and she's like, how could you let me go out of the house like that with that? And he's like, I didn't notice. And
I know,
then
nobody.
And they just kind of sprout where you're like, how did you appear? I looked in the mirror. I was okay. And then suddenly I'm not. Why? Why are you doing that?
5 minutes later. Yeah.
Yeah. I also have found good things from it, though, in terms of some clarity in terms of my life. Have you had any positives from it?
All I'm going to say is I do, you know what? Being in my late 50s, for me, I found a confidence and I do what I want to do. I don't care. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. You don't have to listen to it. You don't have to read it. And that's okay. I think one of the big things, I kept reading all these things about women feeling that they become invisible in their 50s. You don't have to be. If you don't want to be invisible, you don't have to be. What's this? Do I need the attention of men? God, no. Do I need to be the hottest bitch in the no? I couldn't care less. So this is that beautiful time where you get to be you. And if there's
Yes.
something that you want to discover, like writing, whether it be, I don't know, exercise, whatever you want to start, go do it, try it.
Mm-mm.
And you still have your voice, and you should still just express yourself, be you. What's this invisible? No, that you don't need to be invisible.
No, and like what I'm loving is I used to second guess, like there were always things I wanted to do and creative projects I wanted to try, but I would talk myself out and it's like, no, like I would be too afraid. Whereas now
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of leaping into things. And like you, I'm like, if people
Good on
want
you.
to
I love
listen,
that.
they
I love
don't,
it.
don't care. It's for me.
Exactly.
If anyone else wants to share in it, that is beautiful,
That's
but
it.
not necessary at
That's it.
all.
Just do it. Just try it. Give it a go.
Mm-mm.
Because you ain't getting any younger. You might as well.
That's the thing. You kind of stopped that second guessing because you're like, I would rather try it and go, okay, that didn't work out, than
Mhm.
just be one of those people. One day I'm gonna, the
Exactly.
gunner,
Exactly. Oh, look, I've done that too. I did that so long with writing. People said, I remember 20 years ago you said you wanted to write a book, until I finally got to the point. I went, I have to sit down. And I did it. I just thought, no, it took me still forever, but I did it. I did it. And the beautiful, I think with the content creation, that was maybe in the back of my mind, this idea of comedy, whatever. Now I'm like, no. And if anything, I have to actually pull myself back because I would post, I've got so many ideas that I thought, no. Just post yourself because otherwise you're going to run out. So I thought, no. And I have to constantly think of things. I'm trying to keep them fresh and keep them interesting, so that's a struggle.
Yeah, but also remember that the feed is constantly being refreshed. So what is old is new.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
You
Yep.
know, recycle, and there will
Mhm.
be new people and new audiences,
Yeah.
especially because you've grown so much in terms of audience. Like I look at the
Yeah.
numbers where you've got like 500 people liking and,
Yeah, it's really,
so many reposts. And I'm one of the
yeah.
people that's constantly reposting where I'm like, I need her
Okay, thank you.
to
Yeah.
bring some brightness to everyone like
And you
like
know
she
what?
did
That's
me.
probably the most beautiful thing that I'm getting is the number one comment is, thank you for just making me laugh today. Because a lot of people have gone, I haven't had the best time. And they go, just thanks for making me laugh. And the one other thing, they say to me, you're bringing some joy, there's no cruelty. I don't want it to be cruel. Okay, I do give it to Summer Breeze's mum, but she does deserve it.
No, but like, you don't actually do anything with Summer Breeze. All you do is just the contrast speaks.
Yeah. And it's,
But I loved the one where it was Summer Breeze is having a day off for a mental health day, and Teta Yella is like, what? You stay home? No, me go mental. Go to school.
But mental health. I know I shouldn't, but I'm like, my parents, no one cared about. No, they still don't care. My mother still couldn't give a damn about my mental health. Just get up there and do what you need to do. It is what it is. It's from, where we come from. It's a part of the world that they don't care. They don't care about it. Just get up and do it. Clean something.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
Clean,
Yeah. And there is a lot. I mean, look, obviously there are mental health issues, and we have our own
of course.
we're battling. But
Yeah.
it's just a great contrast in terms of the two different sides of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it very, very delightful. I actually think that there could be an audience there where, remember how we used to have Acropolis Now and the,
They were
the
brilliant. And they
voices?
still are. It is, you've got, what I've noticed, there's a lot of, there's some great stuff on the, say, Instagram. TikTok, I'm not as big a fan of TikTok, and I find that difficult I don't understand how it works. I'm on it, but it's not my favorite platform. But Instagram and Facebook, because I'm old and Facebook, I like Facebook and my people love Facebook, that you've got a lot of males. It's very male dominated. There's a couple of women which are fantastic. So I kind of saw also that there was a bit of a market. I thought, wait a minute, there's no kind of, we've got like a guy, is it Balkan Dad, that he does it. But I thought, I like this. There's a spot here, for me. So I thought, okay, we'll give it a go.
Yeah. And I'm also, because my feed is getting more because I'm descending more into the Balkan world, and I'm
Mhm.
loving people who are talking about our language and the way that, the sayings in our language.
God, I think that
And when
really
you
resonates with people.
yes,
Yeah,
and
some
when
of
you
the stuff that
translate it, it's like,
yes.
yes, yes, something about, Summer Breeze and Teta Yella might have to have an interaction.
Poor child will need therapy. Well, there's actually one well, okay, I've got an idea. I always have about 3 reels ready to go. I just like to
Yeah.
know that I've got stuff there. And, yeah, there's one coming up with Teta. Teta has a chat with, Summer Breeze's mum. So
Oh, I can't wait. Oh, this is gonna be delicious.
I hope so.
No, no, no. I'm sure it will be. It is fun. But I think what
Mm.
you're demonstrating also with it that, sometimes like we overthink this whole social media strategy, trying to be slick,
No,
trying to
yes, 100%. I'm with you.
yeah.
Yes. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I just pull it out. I don't care. I just
Mm,
throw it out. If it works, it works. This is because I don't get that. I don't get or a lot of it how it works because that's just purely an age thing and an ignorance on my part that I just don't understand how the algorithms. I don't understand how that works. So, but all I know is what does work is that some people will find it or they find it, they post it, and they send it to friends, and people like it. So,
mm.
I like some things more than others, and that's okay. But I like trying maybe the odd different thing just to, was this going to work? I wonder if that'll work. And even if it doesn't, that's okay. There's still something that I had to say or I wanted to put up.
Yeah, and also like I don't know, it's if we constantly think about what's going to work
Oh, you
and
can't wait. No, you
you
can't.
never know. Like
You
that's
don't
the
know.
creative thing. Like you never know
Mhm.
what's going to work, what's going to connect, what's the moment. And I love that
Mhm.
saying that I see a lot on social media where it's like some people just gave up just before. You don't know.
Oh, yeah. You don't know. So and I've got nothing to lose. I really have nothing to lose. So I
Mm.
just keep going, and if it keeps going, that's fine. If it doesn't, it'll mean it's reached its moment in time, and that's okay. And I'll just keep doing other things. You give it a go. That's
Well,
what I mean by just try.
mm. Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like you kind of that's the joy of this midlife,
Mhm.
those creative risks
I know.
where they're not risks anymore. Before they might
Mhm.
have been. It's that whole thing, oh, I don't know, should I, should whereas now, I don't know, it's just so much fun just to put yourself out there and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, do you know what? I don't care about being cool. I'm not
Yes.
cool. That's okay. I don't care if I'm a dag. That's all right with me. I don't
Mm,
care. But
mm.
I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not embarrassed. But boy, I just give it a go. And you know,
Well, I actually have this thing where I'm like, I don't feel embarrassment as a concept anymore. I have taken that out of my brain because I
good.
am like, things happen. We do
Yeah.
things. Why judge myself? Why be hard on myself? If people are going
Mhm.
to judge me for saying or doing something, that's on them. They can do that. I don't need to.
Good for you.
Mm,
I like that. I really do. Spend my life worrying about what other people think, please. And that's very much a part of the culture. You know,
yes.
such a direct. What are people going to
Yes.
say? Really
Yes.
You know what? People don't care. If you
Yeah.
fall on your face, they love it and they'll talk
Yes.
about it, but then they wait for the next person. So what do I care? I don't care.
Mm,
It's taken a
yeah.
long time, let's be honest, but it is what you just keep going. Don't be cruel. Don't be unkind. Just mind your business. Stay in your lane. Just live your life and live it with some, be respectful. Live it with grace. Be a class act.
And I think just have some fun. Now, I just wanted to
Yes.
make
Yes.
sure that I got your handle out there for people to follow you.
Mm-hmm.
So on Instagram, is there like there's Teta Yella
Tipa
and
Yella, and then I've also got Yelena Keurig dash slash writer. And now I'd
mm,
started that long before I thought I had wanted that as the Teta Yella used to be just my private one. And then
mm,
Yelena Keurig was the writing one. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, all this. And I just ended up taking all pretty much my private stuff off and just using, once it all built, I just kept Teta Yella as the place for the reels. And now it's like, oh gosh, I wish I could amalgamate the two, but it is what it is. I've got them separate. I wasn't anticipating that Tetiella was going to take off like it did. I just had it
yeah,
there. So I always do a collaboration with Yelena.
yes.
the writer.
Yes.
You know, I don't know. I wish I could put them together because I'm pretty much put the same stuff on Tetiela than I do on the writer. But then, you know,
Yeah.
some things I do keep just for the, say, writing or books or whatever.
That's the thing I had, because I had my romance writing identity, May Archer. And
May Archer.
you want to hear something interesting about May Archer? I spent a lot of time coming up with this pen name. So it was, you know, May West and then Archer from Sleepy Hollow, the Archer surname.
Okay.
And, you know, I've now, like, my identities are out, but originally I had May Archer was the romance writer and Amra Palich didn't exist. And so I did what you did. I had all those separate accounts and separate websites, and it is work. It is work. And so then when I reached a point in my life where I did not care anymore and I just put everything, you know, everything is advertised. I still have the romance novels under my romance name just because I'm a teacher and I did write young adult. And I was like, I don't want any young people thinking sugar. That's my alarm. So I have to keep it separate just in case because I don't want young people sort of reading it. But yeah, it is so much work. What would your advice be for anyone who's sort of navigating that?
I look, my situation is a bit because that was my own personal one that I used to have. I had it closed off, like you had to ask to follow. But then I took the vast majority of private photos off that family stuff, and I've just got the reels. You should always have a website and have your own, say, Instagram or Threads, whatever, and that should be your writing. You as a writer, it helps you promote and put your stuff out. Oh, it's a tough, I don't know. Just it's important. If I take the content creation away for a sec, just from a writer's point of view, you need to be visible, I think, and you need to be out there, and if you do have you're on, say, Instagram. I think a lot of young ones don't do Facebook, but say you're on Instagram, you need to have, I personally, to reels, sometimes just talking about who you are, what you want, to get your name out because it's so hard, especially for a debut. And if, say, you're not with one of the big guys, because they've got the money and they'll push and they'll get your books into bookstores and really put. But if you're a small person and you're really starting to, you want people to know who you are, you've got to get some information out and find things that that's it sort of represents you. For me, it was that character that she came through, and I used to use a lot of the Croatian symbols, and I'd work ways to kind of with the music as well to kind of make people, okay, this is what my book is and where it's going, and so it gives you an idea. Yeah, it's important. I think for a smaller, when you're trying to get established.
And I think there is a lot of expectations these days if you are wanting to be in the traditional publishing world.
Yeah.
They do expect authors to do the promotion. And if you're in my world, which is the indie world, you are it. You are everything. You know, you're the marketing, you're the publishing, you're the, organizing everything.
Yep.
But I think that there is a message here in terms of like not necessarily trying so hard, just trying to be genuine and just sharing who you are.
I like that. Yeah, that's the word. Yes, it's being genuine, just being, I think, showing people who you are. Be
Lovely.
real.
Yeah, I think be real. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Jelena Čurić and Teta Jela,
for having
joining me and for sharing so many of your experiences and lesson learned. So yes, and I'll be watching and looking forward to more reels.
Thank you. They're coming. They're definitely coming.
Good. Thank you for tuning in to Amra's Armchair Anecdotes. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and follow for more insight, stories and inspiration. From my armchair to yours, remember, every story begins with a single word.